Go back. You just said that you would practice the dance steps and your father would be holding a belt in his hand. Is that what you just said?
Yes.
How often would he beat you?
Too much.
Would he only use a belt?
Why do you do this to me?
Did you have a very good relationship with all of your children? How would you describe your family life?
No, put it like they have a good relationship with me.
When most 5-year-olds were worried about monsters hiding under the bed, Michael Jackson was dealing with something way more intense: Joseph Jackson. His childhood turned into nonstop rehearsals, pressure, and fear from a super young age. Every little mistake could lead to a brutal punishment, and the house didn't exactly feel warm or loving. In fact, the kids reportedly weren't even allowed to call Joseph Dad because he wanted that hard emotional distance to stay in control and keep everybody focused on performing. Joseph was locked in on success and money, seeing his sons as his second chance at the music career he never got to have.
And he didn't allow us to call him Daddy. And I wanted to call him Daddy so bad. He said, "I'm not Daddy, I'm Joseph to you," you know?
Back in the early 1950s, Joseph and his brother Luther started a blues band called the Falcons. He played guitar and seriously believed they could blow up in the music scene. But things never worked out the way he hoped. The band couldn't land a record deal, momentum faded fast, and eventually, the whole thing fell apart. After that dream crashed, Joseph took a tough job as a crane operator at a steel mill to support his massive family. But music still stayed on his mind. By the 1960s, Jackie, Tito, and Jermaine had secretly started messing around with their father's guitar behind his back. Once Joseph found out, he wasted no time turning that talent into a real group called the Jackson Brothers. Around that same period, Katherine Jackson noticed something unbelievable about little Michael. At just 5 years old, his voice stood out in a huge way. Katherine kept telling Joseph to listen to Michael sing, but for the longest time, he ignored her completely. In Joseph's eyes, Jermaine was already the lead singer, no questions asked. But Katherine knew Michael had something rare. She kept pushing Joseph to give him one real chance to perform. The second Joseph finally heard Michael sing, the entire future of the Jackson family changed overnight.
When he was beating you, did you hate him?
Yeah. Strong hate.
Michael quickly became the center of attention in the Jackson family. Katherine saw it as a blessing straight from God, while Joseph saw something completely different, a chance to build a music dynasty around his talented son. From that point on, the pressure got even more intense. Rehearsals were reportedly exhausting, strict, and full of fear. Joseph would sit in the middle of the room with a leather belt nearby, watching every single move the kids made like a hawk. If one of the brothers missed a step, hit the wrong note, or messed up the choreography, punishment allegedly came fast.
I don't think he realizes to this day how scared. I mean scared. So scared that I would regurgitate.
You would vomit?
Mm-hmm.
When would you vomit? What would produce that sort of reaction in you?
His presence, just seeing him. And sometime I'd faint, and my bodyguards would have to hold me up.
Over the years, multiple accounts claimed the discipline inside the Jackson household went way beyond normal parenting, and even the sisters reportedly faced harsh treatment too.
One occasion you cite when you're getting out of the bathtub and he whacks you. How old were you then?
I was very young. I remember being younger than 8, let me put it like that.
I mean, that's pretty bad.
And I can't remember what it was that I did. I can't remember if I truly deserved it. But my father's never touched me aside from that time. He's never whipped me.
But he did the boys quite a lot. He was quite physically disciplinary.
What really stunned people later on was the fact that Michael had already started speaking publicly about the physical abuse back in 1979. At the time, most people had no clue how serious things were behind closed doors. Around that same period, Michael reportedly opened up during a deeply personal conversation with LaToya Jackson and admitted he wouldn't miss Joseph if he passed away.
He used to play this game with me all the time. And said, LaToya, tell me the truth. If Joseph died, would you care? Would you cry? And I would say, why would you say that, would you? He goes, you answer first. I go, no, you answer. He says, no, I could care less. I wouldn't cry.
That statement shocked people because it showed just how deep the emotional pain really went. The bruises may have healed over time, but the emotional scars reportedly stayed with Michael for years. As Michael entered his teenage years, new insecurities started piling on. He struggled with acne and became more aware of changes in his appearance. Instead of helping build his confidence, Joseph allegedly targeted one of Michael's biggest insecurities, his nose. Michael later claimed his father would make cruel jokes and call him names like Big Nose. According to Michael, Joseph even told him, "In our family, we don't have ugly ones like that. You're not one of us."
Is it true that your father used to say you had a fat nose?
Yeah.
What did he say? What did he actually say?
God, your nose is big. You didn't get it from me. I wouldn't want to look in the mirror.
Really?
And my father teased me, and I just hated it. I cried every day because of it.
Your father would tease you about your pimples?
Yes, he would tell me I'm ugly.
Your father would say
Yes,
that?
he would. Sorry, Joseph.
Those words reportedly hit him hard and stayed stuck in his mind for years. Friends close to Michael later claimed he admitted part of the reason behind his cosmetic surgeries came from wanting to stop seeing features that reminded him of his father.
And Michael said in a recent interview that he was frightened of you. He says that he was so frightened of you sometimes that he would be sick. Is that true?
Well, I just knew about that when I heard him mention that on the TV on the Oprah Winfrey show. I didn't know anything about him being sick, but regurgitating. But if he did regurgitate it, he regurgitated all the way to the bank. You know.
What do you mean?
I mean, by me being strict with him a little bit, and it made him a superstar.
What started as childhood criticism reportedly turned into lifelong insecurity, and the emotional weight of those comments never fully disappeared. But according to multiple stories from the family, the fear inside that house went way beyond tough rehearsals and strict rules.
And he would tear you up if you missed. And so we, not only were we practicing, we were nervous rehearsing because he sat in the chair and he had this bell in his hand. And if you didn't do it the right way, he would tear you up, really get you. And I was so fast, he couldn't catch me half the time, but when he would catch me, oh my God, it was bad.
One night, Joseph allegedly put on a terrifying mask, climbed through Michael's bedroom window, and screamed to scare him awake. Joseph later claimed he was trying to teach his son a lesson about leaving windows open.
Say, let's get into this beating thing. There's no such thing as beating a kid. You whip them and punish them for something they did, and they will remember that. So they remember it in such a way they wouldn't do it again. That's the way I was.
But the moment reportedly traumatized Michael for years afterward. Michael later shared that he suffered nightmares and panic about being kidnapped from his own room, and those fears stayed with him long after childhood.
Throw you up against the wall as hard as he could. He would lose his temper. I just remember hearing my mother scream, "Joe, you're gonna kill him, you're gonna kill him, stop it, you're gonna kill him," and if he hit me, I would hit him back, which was terrible. And I would run around the house and hide and all that stuff. But I would really get it more than anybody.
When Michael finally turned 21, things started changing in a major way. He decided not to renew his contract with Joseph, officially ending his father's legal control over both his career and personal business affairs. For Michael, it was a huge step toward freedom, but it also showed how much fear still existed between them. Michael reportedly hired lawyers and professional advisors to separate his business from Joseph completely. But despite making that massive decision, he allegedly couldn't even tell his father directly face-to-face. Reports claimed the stress and fear surrounding the situation made him physically ill. Joseph especially clashed with Michael's attorney, John Branca, and throughout the 1980s, he publicly blasted Michael's business team, accusing them of being crooks stealing money away from the family. Even after losing official control, Joseph reportedly kept trying to pull Michael back under family management.
You never physically harmed him?
Never have. And I raised him just like you would raise your kids, But harm Michael for what? I have no reason. That's my son. I loved him.
But by then, Michael believed the professionals around him were protecting his career, while Joseph mainly focused on protecting his own interests. One of the final pressure points still hanging over Michael was the Jackson 5. After Thriller exploded and turned him into a global superstar, Joseph allegedly leaned hard into family guilt, reminding Michael that he supposedly owed everything to the family name. That pressure reportedly became a major factor when a huge $5 million Pepsi deal landed in 1983. Even though Michael allegedly had serious concerns about it, he still moved forward with the project. Then everything went horribly wrong during the commercial shoot. Michael's hair accidentally caught fire during a pyrotechnics mishap, leaving him with painful second- and third-degree burns. Following the accident, reports claimed Michael became dependent on strong pain medication, beginning a personal struggle that would later create even more problems in his life. But Pepsi wasn't the only thing Joseph still wanted from Michael. He reportedly pushed hard for a massive Jackson 5 reunion tour, with Michael once again front and center carrying the entire spotlight. Joseph already knew direct pressure didn't work on Michael anymore, so according to reports, he turned to the one person Michael could never easily refuse, Katherine Jackson. Instead of demanding anything, Katherine reportedly approached Michael in a much softer way, asking him from the heart, "Help your brothers and go on stage with the family." Michael always had a deep connection with his mother, and saying no to her was something he struggled with for years. So despite his personal doubts and growing exhaustion, he agreed to do the tour anyway. But from the very beginning, the Victory Tour reportedly felt more like a giant money operation than a celebration of music. One of the biggest controversies came from the ticket system, which instantly upset fans everywhere. A lottery-style setup reportedly required fans to send around $120 up front, just for the chance to buy 4 tickets. And if someone lost the lottery, reports claimed getting that money refunded could take up to 8 weeks. Michael allegedly hated the idea from the start because he worried it would make the family look greedy and completely out of touch with regular fans. He especially felt bad for younger supporters and working-class families who couldn't afford those expensive terms. Behind the scenes, reports claimed Michael pushed back hard against the plan because he believed it was unfair and damaging to the Jackson family's image. Then the entire situation reportedly changed because of one emotional letter. An 11-year-old fan from Texas named LaDonna Jones wrote directly to Michael explaining she had worked small jobs to save just $30 for a ticket, but there was no way she could afford the required 4-ticket purchase. In the letter, she openly called the Jacksons selfish and greedy for money. Those words reportedly hit Michael hard and completely changed how he looked at the entire tour situation. Not long after the backlash exploded, Michael stepped in and completely changed the situation. He called a press conference and announced the controversial ticket system would be adjusted. But that wasn't the only surprise. Michael also revealed that his personal share of the Victory Tour profits would go directly to charity instead of staying in his own pocket. The announcement reportedly left Joseph and several of the brothers shocked because they never expected Michael to publicly walk away from millions connected to the family's business plans. By that stage, Michael reportedly stopped caring about how upset the family might get. The ticket controversy had already damaged his reputation badly, and because he was the biggest star in the group, fans mainly blamed him for the mess. Reports claimed the advance ticket money sat in accounts connected to the tour operation, while interest continued building in the background. Michael allegedly felt frustrated that his image was taking the hit while the business side kept moving forward. Eventually, Michael reached his breaking point with all the pressure and family drama. During the final Los Angeles concert of the Victory Tour, he shocked the audience by announcing it would be his last performance with the Jacksons. Fans inside the stadium reportedly couldn't believe what they were hearing, and the announcement instantly sent shockwaves through the music industry. Behind the scenes, reports claimed Joseph Jackson completely lost his temper after hearing the news. By the end of the tour, Joseph and several promoters were already planning even more shows across Europe and Australia for 1985. With Thriller dominating worldwide, they reportedly expected to pull in tens of millions more. But with one public statement, Michael suddenly destroyed all those plans overnight. For many people watching, this moment felt way bigger than someone simply leaving a music group. It looked like Michael publicly breaking free from his father's control in front of millions of fans around the world. backstage tensions reportedly exploded. And according to some accounts, Michael directly looked at his father and said, "It's over, Joseph." After losing control of Michael's career, Joseph reportedly launched his own label called Ivory Tower International Records, hoping to create success with other artists and younger members of the Jackson family. But none of those projects ever came close to reaching Michael's level of fame. Over the years, Joseph also faced criticism for continuing to use the Jackson family name in different business ventures, including promotions tied to products like perfumes and food brands. As time went on, Michael slowly started separating himself not just from the family business, but from Joseph personally too. What began as emotional distance eventually turned into strict boundaries and serious rules. At Neverland Ranch, reports claimed Joseph wasn't even allowed to visit unless Michael personally approved it first. Security staff allegedly had direct instructions not to let him onto the property without permission, showing just how strained their relationship had become over the years. Even with all the tension, Michael still reportedly tried to keep some level of peace inside the family. Every year, he would hold a special Joseph Jackson Day at Neverland Ranch and invite relatives over for gatherings. But behind the scenes, the emotional distance between father and son reportedly never fully healed. Then came one of the biggest shocks of all. Michael completely left Joseph out of his will. In 2002, when Michael was 43 years old, he quietly finalized the legal documents in private. According to reports, 40% of his estate was left to his children, Prince, Paris, and Blanket. Another 40% reportedly went to Katherine Jackson, while the remaining 20% was dedicated to charitable causes and organizations. What immediately caught people's attention was who did not appear in the will. Joseph's name was reportedly nowhere to be found. Michael also chose Diana Ross as a backup guardian for his children, instead of selecting his father or even his brothers. Reports claimed Michael carefully structured Katherine's inheritance through a lifetime trust arrangement, possibly to prevent financial pressure or outside influence connected to the money. Katherine reportedly received a monthly allowance for living expenses, but she did not directly control the main fortune and legally could not move large amounts of money to Joseph or invest it into his business projects. After Michael's tragic death in 2009, reports claimed Joseph realized he had been left out entirely and later filed a lawsuit requesting a monthly allowance of $15,000. Joseph reportedly argued that Michael had supported him financially for many years and believed that, as Michael's father, he deserved part of the estate. But during the legal battle, estate lawyers John Branca and John McLean presented documents showing that Michael had intentionally removed Joseph from the list of beneficiaries long before his death. When the court finally ruled on the matter, reports claimed the judge made the situation crystal clear, stating, "Joseph Jackson receives nothing from this estate. That was his son's decision." The ruling instantly fueled even more public discussion about the complicated and painful relationship between Michael and his father. But what shocked many people even more were several comments Joseph made publicly in the days after Michael's death. In an interview recorded on June 28, 2009, only days after Michael passed away, Joseph reportedly spoke about missing watching Michael perform on stage. Some critics felt the comments sounded more focused on Michael the superstar entertainer rather than Michael the son. Around the same time, Joseph also appeared on live television promoting his new record label, and that move sparked heavy backlash online and in the media. Many grieving fans felt the timing looked insensitive while the world was still mourning Michael's sudden death. Despite Joseph Jackson's strong business instincts and ability to build a music empire, many people believed he never truly figured out the most important role of all, being a father. No matter how much fame, money, or success surrounded the Jackson family, there always seemed to be an emotional wall standing between Joseph and his children. And for many fans, one of the saddest examples came during a television interview with LaToya Jackson. Sitting across from her father in tears, LaToya tried opening up about how badly she wanted his love and approval. She explained how much even one kind word or simple affection would have meant to her growing up. But according to viewers and reports from the time, Joseph responded with a cold and distant expression that left people stunned. There didn't seem to be much emotional connection at all. Many believe Joseph struggled to understand his children's feelings because he himself reportedly grew up without warmth, affection, or emotional support. In his memoirs, Joseph described his own father as extremely strict and authoritarian. He said he grew up feeling lonely and was raised under harsh discipline. Over the years, Joseph often defended the way he parented, claiming those tough methods were necessary to keep children focused, successful, and out of trouble. But critics and family members alike argued that those same methods left emotional wounds that never fully disappeared. Behind Michael Jackson's worldwide fame, record-breaking success, and legendary performances, many people believe he carried the fear, insecurity, and emotional pain of that same frightened little boy for the rest of his life. The music made him larger than life, but the scars from childhood reportedly stayed far away from the spotlight. If you enjoyed this video, make sure to like, subscribe, and share it with others. And drop a comment below letting us know your thoughts on the complicated relationship between Michael Jackson and Joseph Jackson.